Hey guys, D-Man here, and today I am reviewing The Witcher Season 1, all eight episodes. And man, this thing is awesome, yet confusing, um, and it has some stupid things in there, but we'll get into that into the review. By the way, before you watch this, spoiler alert, it's going to spoil the whole series, or a lot of it. Not the whole thing, probably, because I don't remember every single thing that happened. But it's going to spoil quite a bit of it. Before we get started, though, The Witcher. Let's talk about The Witcher. What is The Witcher? The Witcher was originally a book, or a book series, I think. And then it turned to a game. I think it was a game series, actually. I think there's 3 games. And out of those games, I have not played barely any of them. I played like half an hour of the third one. I think it was the third one, or the most recent one. I think that was the third one. I played like half an hour of it, and all I know about it is like from playing like half an hour and watching a little bit of stuff on YouTube, is that you're the Witcher, which is like a cursed person that got cursed by a Witcher or somebody that's magic. You got cursed by someone that's magic, obviously. um, or like you got enhanced powers by someone that's magic. I don't know, something like that. You ride around a horse and you kill monsters and do quests. Just like most games, except most games you don't ride around a horse. But yeah, just like most games, you just ride around killing stuff. So it's a pretty fun game. Sadly, I never got into it, so yeah, I don't know. um, and then we have the new series, which is this thing. Now, I think this thing's mostly based off of the game, if I'm not mistaken, or the games, I should say. Maybe some kind of prequel or something. I'm not sure because I've never played the games fully or watched anything about the games fully. I've seen a couple things. I played like half an hour, and that's about it. So yeah, I've never actually know much about The Witcher. All I know is you're a guy that rides on a horse, kills monsters. So I think this is mostly from the games. Maybe some of it's from the books, but I wouldn't know because I don't know. um, but yeah, all in all, it's a pretty damn good series. I will say that much, but confusing at first. So let's get into it, okay? So what's the confusing part? The confusing part is that it takes place over multiple timelines and also multiple characters. There's 3 main characters. There's the Witcher himself. There's a witch for some reason that I don't know the purpose of yet. And then there's this little girl. I think she's supposed to be like 12 or something like that, even though she looks like she's like 14. But like, I think the actor's probably like around 14 or so, but I think she's actually supposed to be 12. Um, and basically, we start off with the Witcher killing a princess and then saving another princess, and it's back in time, and we don't know this yet until we go into the future, where we see this little girl with her grandma, and eventually her grandma ends up dying because of a war. And we're like, oh no, she's like, you have to find the Witcher. And we're like, why does she have to find the Witcher? Why does she have to find the Witcher? So we don't know why she has to find the Witcher or anything, but she has to find him. And then we go back to the Witcher, and we see him kind of traveling and stuff like that. And then there's a point where we go to this witch who's like a hunchback. She's like has this deformity, and she's like a quarter elf, and she's basically a witch, who kind of just wants power. And then eventually she gets her body changed to look beautiful, and they take everything away from her. Like, she says that she's like, oh, they take everything away from you. It's foolish and stuff like that. Even though technically it's kind of her own fault because she's the one that agreed to it, but whatever, I guess. Whatever, let's just blame the people that did it to you, even though you agreed to it. So basically, we have this whole backstory about her, and at first it's like, why are we having this whole backstory about this witch? And then eventually, she connects to the Witcher, and she's kind of bonded to him through a wish, through a genie or a djinn. And it's kind of confusing. Like that whole thing's kind of confusing, because at the end they kind of break up, but they're kind of might be back together, sort of thing. It's kind of like what? Because they're kind of like together as a thing, then they break up. And it's just odd. It's just this odd thing that doesn't get explained too well. So eventually we see the Witcher, and eventually we realize that it's in the past because we see the girl's grandma when she was younger and kind of a tyrant, to be honest, and a monster. And the witch is there, and eventually they do this destiny thing where the Witcher saves the girl's father, and he's just like, okay, I think it's like a prize or something like that. Where basically he's like, just give me what you don't have yet, which is his daughter, I guess. And then eventually, like destiny comes into play, and the Witcher tries to go get the girl, but he can't because like he thinks that she's in trouble. Because this whole time we've been working up from the past to this point. And it's kind of confusing. I know I'm not explaining it right. You have to go watch it, okay? Like at first you're gonna be like, what? Like what? I thought she was dead, but no, and then they were dead. And it's just like, oh wait a minute, this is in the past, and there's this one thing about incest. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, it's really cool, okay? So basically they work themselves up from the past to the present, and then the witch that was there that we don't have a really a reason for yet. She's gone somewhere, and then the Witcher finally meets up with the girl because the girl's destiny was to meet up with the Witcher, and the Witcher's destiny was to meet up with the girl because she has like this primal nature to her, like her mother did, and supposedly she's the key to open up some kind of white fire thing. Again, I don't know anything about this because I've never played the games or read the books or anything like that. So, yeah, she has some kind of white fire thing, and I'm assuming, okay, this is my theory, is that since The Witcher made that thing, made, like, the deal with fate and stuff like that, and he's intertwined with her, I'm assuming, just by the looks of her and stuff like that, she's a Witcher. We saw her, like, in one of the episodes, I saw her eyes turned a different color, like the Witcher's eyes. But I'm assuming she's a Witcher, or she will become a Witcher in the future. And at the end, they meet up together, they hug, and it's just like, oh, it's so adorable. It's actually pretty cool, because he actually wants to protect this girl now. So yeah, like, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool ending. Left off on a cliffhanger as well, so we might get another season if it does well enough. So go watch it. But yeah, like, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be a Witcher in the future. But yeah, like, basically, this whole thing is pretty cool. It shows a lot of prejudices towards people and stuff like that. It's just really good. What's the best parts? What's the bad parts about it? I don't know. Like I couldn't say it all because like there's so much stuff that's so good about it, and you should just go watch it. And I wouldn't want to spoil everything. The Witcher has a best friend in this, by the way, and he's like a bard, I think, or a guy that plays tunes. I think he's called a bard, right? They're called bards. I'm not sure. And at the end, he's kind of a dick to him, but I hope he comes back because that's my boy. That's my bard boy. I hope he comes back at the end because the Witcher, he's kind of an asshole, but it's kind of true what he says at the same time. It's pretty funny. But man, I think the bard's going to come back because he's the best character. What's the bad about this show? Okay, so the bad parts about this show is first off, it's confusing, but then it gets better. Second off is the the effects are actually really good when they're real effects. Like they have like a lot of real effects there, but they're really bad when they're like CGI-ish effects. And luckily, they use those sparingly. Like they might use them like in every few episodes, but they don't use them all the time because they're really bad and they look totally garbage. Especially like the dragon one with the golden dragon, with him talking and stuff like that. It looks super stupid. It was just like, really, that looks super stupid. Um, so yeah, that's one of the baddest parts is like the effects. It's one of the good parts and the bad parts because the real like the real effects that they made were awesome, but the CGI ones they made were just like, like ew, like that looks totally fake and that takes you out of the experience instantly. um, but luckily they use them sparingly, so that's pretty good. We learn a little bit about the Witcher's backstory, how his mom just kind of abandoned him at a place for I assume a mage or a wizard or something like that to pick him up and make him into a Witcher. It's kind of messed up. And his mom was like a witch or something, I guess. Kind of messed up. Any other thing about bad things? Not really. Like, that's just like my two biggest issues with this was like at first it was super confusing, but actually I ended up liking that. And the second one is just like the CGI was just atrocious. Not very good at all, but luckily they'll use it sparingly, so that's really good. Any other bad things about it? There probably are other bad things about it. Like, I'm sure it's like oh yeah, I did notice like a few things where like it was added a little bit weirdly. Like at one point the Witcher is full of like guts and stuff, and then he jumps into a bathtub, and then the next moment, like the next clip, he's like almost fully cleaned. It's kind of weird. So there's some parts like that are just like but for the most part, it's actually really good, and I would suggest watching it. Not much bad, I gotta say, not much bad. If I were to rate it, like 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, 5 being the average, I'm gonna give it like a 9. It's good, and I'm gonna watch the other season if it ever comes out. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell notification down below because that's the best way to keep up my content. Link down below to my Twitter as well. As always, my friends, stay sane. Peace.